Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another episode here on African Confessions. The following story that you're going to be listening to, it comes from a translation. It is part 2 of the first confession that we posted about our dear sister who is saying that she went to Nigeria, and when she went to Nigeria, that was when she was taken to a village deep in the mountains where she slept with a traditional healer. The continuation of that message reads like this. Brother Nashi, so what happened was that when I returned back home, I was told that in order to have the little wealth that I was now making, I had to sleep with my own brother. And yes, I did that evil act of sleeping with my own dear brother. Oh dear, I never thought that I'll end up doing such a thing. And what hurts me the most is that the Nigerian pastor was not open enough with me that if I was going to get my husband healed, he was going to take me to a traditional healer where the so-called healing in brackets was going to take place, and I had to sleep with that healer. It was as if I had been hypnotized. I know that there are a lot amongst my own people that want to travel to different countries, but when you want to go for spiritual healing to another country, rather maybe carry your brother, your mother, someone that can tell you that the things that they want you to do, it is not okay. When you want to do your things on your own in secret, not wanting other people to know, that is when you will end up being in the same situation that I am. And the challenge that you can be facing is like in my own case, I was saying that there were those that were bewitching my husband. I was afraid that if I informed people that this was my plan, I will go to Nigeria and we were going to get our spiritual healing. Maybe those that were bewitching my husband, they will make a plan B. So we always try to do things in secret, especially when you are facing spiritual challenges. But I advise you, if there is one who is thinking of heading for Nigeria, to at least tell 1 to 3 people, so that when you return back home, and if they notice that there are things that you are doing, like sending money, even some rituals that you are performing that does not make sense, at least they can speak with you and show you that you have lost your way. And if you do these things alone, if you go to Nigeria on your own to meet pastors on your own without telling some of your relatives or closest friends, I tell you, you will end up performing rituals that will haunt you for the rest of your life. When I returned back home, I started my small businesses, but at night I was unable to sleep. It was one day when I was busy watching TV. Late at night, I was in bed when I saw my husband's head. It was on this other small coffee table that I used to have in my bedroom. I screamed out aloud, such that one of my cousin sister's daughter, who was staying with me at that time, rushed to the bedroom, for she thought that maybe there was a thief that had entered. I wanted to tell her that I had seen the head of my late husband, but I was scared. Immediately, I then saw a message that popped up on my WhatsApp. Remember that I had no more access to this Nigerian pastor. To this very day, he has cut me off only when he wants to communicate. That is when I can just see a ghost account on Facebook that will just send me a message. Before I can even screenshot it, then the person will just delete all the messages on their side and on my side. So these are messages, as I call them, messages of instructions of the things that I am supposed to do to continue with the rituals. At that time, I saw a message that popped up on my WhatsApp, and I was told that I needed to return back to Nigeria. So I returned back to Nigeria. When I returned back to that country, that was when I was told that I was supposed to get an egg back to my country again. So I returned back to South Africa with an egg, and then this egg, I placed it underneath my bed, and this I had to do for 8 nights. Mind you, the message that I received from the WhatsApp number, it was +234 and it started with an 8, just like I had been told to keep that egg underneath my bed for 8 days. And this was a way of keeping the covenant so that I can keep the little money that I was making. Then on the 8th day, I saw Pastor Okoro. I saw this man. I was in the shower. So in my bedroom, I do have an insert. So there is a place where there is a little shower and then the tub, as well as this big mirror that I have in my bathroom. So the shower, it has glass panels. I saw a shadow when I was busy bathing. The water was really hot, so there was steam everywhere. But through the steam, I saw that there was a man that walked into the bathroom and entered into the tub. I immediately got out and my hands were shaking. That was when I saw Pastor Okoro. He was in the mirror and he disappeared. When I returned back to the bedroom, I was feeling so sleepy and I fell asleep and I found myself back in Nigeria, where I was given a snake by a man that I can't even describe to you. He was a man that had many heads and he was very small, like a short boy. And he said that he was a god that he had been sent from the mountains to give me the gift. When I woke up, Brother Nashi, I thought that I was still holding the remote control that I had been using just before I had fallen fast asleep. But I felt that remote control moving. I looked and then I saw a snake. It was a brown snake with spots, like golden colored spots, and it was a python. It looked at me, it hissed, and it disappeared. I then fell fast asleep again, and then that was when I was told by that many-headed man that I had seen earlier on, that had told me that he had brought to me a gift that was going to keep me to protect the money that I had been given deep in the mountains when I was still in Nigeria. And when I woke up again, the snake was on the floor. So this snake, it goes into the tiles, and when it wants to appear, it will just appear and tell me whatever that it wants. As time went on, I started to have visions. I can be sitting and then I'll just see a vision of a snake. Even it will be moving on my lawn and it will tell me that it wants 1 or 2 chickens, which I will end up going to buy fresh chickens and I will just drop them on the lawn. Later on, I would find out that there will be blood. It would have eaten everything. Then I pick up the pieces that will be remaining and I will throw it into the refuse bin. This is the life that I have been living. My daughter, she walks around with a snake around her waist. She does not know. When she goes out to the groove, to the clubs, wherever she goes to drink alcohol, when she dances, men, they are attracted to her, for that snake makes her to be very seductive. Any man that sleeps with my daughter, that man will start to suffer financially. That man's marriage can even break down. He can lose his job. He can be that man that will be fixing his car like each and every weekend, and that car will be taking so much money from him. That is the curse that they are given by the snake. For the snake said, my daughter, she is a wife to that snake. She is someone that is very promiscuous. She is always on Facebook looking for men. There was even one time when she told me that she was going to Cape Town. I asked her, what are you going to do in Cape Town? She said she had met a man on Facebook who had sent her money so that she can go and see him in Cape Town, and she went there. I have no worries about my daughter, even though it hurts me. She is protected by the snake, but all that she gives all of these men is nothing but bad luck. The thing that pains me right now is that I have to sleep with my son whilst he is sober-minded. I would prefer for him to be drunk like I did with my own brother. It will be better. Dear listeners, right there was a message that was forwarded to me by one of our admin. Strange things indeed, they do happen in this world. Yo.